My name is Jamie Johnson. I own Hot Rod Haven in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I've owned the shop now for 23 years, and I've been coming to the Nationals now. This is my 16th invite for the Builder Showcase. We were here the first year, along with Chip Foose and all the guys. This is the 10th car I've brought to the Builder Showcase, and this year I brought Bob Owen's 1932 Ford Roadster that we built. Bob lives in Wellington, Texas, and the car is a historic car that was built in 1961 by a man named Ian Cusey. And Ian was the vice president of the LA Roadster Club in Los Angeles. So the car itself, many magazine covers, including record album cover. It was in Rod & Custom magazine back then. We received the car about 3 years ago, and we restored the car in less than 1 year. Recently, the car was showed in California at the Grand National Roadster Show. It was up for the America's Most Beautiful Roadster Award. And now we're here in Louisville in the Builder Showcase. And now in about a week and a half we'll be at Pebble Beach, because it's one of 8 32 Fords that was invited to be at Pebble Beach. So we'll be in Monterey in about a week and a half with the car. The motor is a 283 Chevrolet, and it's a basically built to the Corvette standards of the day, with the 3 carburetors was added, of course, but it's just a basic 283. It has a generator for a Corvette that has the tack drive on the back, but it's exactly as it was in 1961. So the upholstery in this car was unique for the time. It had a set of early Volvo bucket seats that were installed. And so for back in the late 50s, that was kind of a different thing. So you can see how it was basically white pleats with black carpet and a Ford steering wheel. And the unique thing about this car is that the shift pattern is reversed. In order to run a side shift 1940 transmission in a 32 Ford, the shift arms had to be reversed in order to fit with the original K-member of a 32 Ford. So the entire sequence is reversed. First gear is towards you and up, reverse is towards you and down. The same thing with second and third, it's all reversed. So that's kind of interesting. The tachometer is a Corvette item. All the gauges and the gauge panel are original to the car in 1961. Every part of this car, including the windshield glass, is original to the car from 1961. The decal in the corner of the windshield is the original decal. So, pretty remarkable that it is still intact and everything looks good. So we had information from different publications from back in the day. Obviously the car was in Rod & Custom on the cover of Speed and Tuning, but also back then the record album also. But we were able to get to some old archival photos of the car when it was shot for Hot Rod magazine back then, Rod & Custom. So these photos really helped in the aiding of the restoration of the car. Everything's well detailed, as well as a couple photos of the car here. One on the left is from 1964 with a set of Krager wheels. So the owner of the car, Ian Cusey, who built it in the 60s, was friends with Tom McMullen, who owned Street Rodder magazine back then. And Tom did a 2-segment article on taking an old car and turning it into a new style car in 1981. And Ian Cusey had kept this car the same as it was from the 60s up until the 80s. So in 1981, they took this car all apart, documented everything about it, the old school ways of doing things versus a new school way of doing things. And the car remained completely apart up until 81. So, I mean, it was taken apart in 81 and remained completely apart until Bob Owens ended up with it. And he bought it from Ian Cusey. So it was great to debut the car at the Grand National Roadster Show in California. It was wonderful to bring it here to Louisville, Kentucky to the Builder Showcase. But it's quite an honor to be selected to go to Pebble Beach, one of the most prestigious car shows in the world, in my own opinion. And so that'll be the history of this car. It's just going to end up going back to Texas after Pebble Beach and used, which is what Bob has always intended for the car. He's going to drive it.